And good afternoon and welcome to Scottish Rugby TV's coverage of the 2016-17 BT Premiership Playoff Final. We're here at the Greenyards in Melrose. It's Melrose who finished the season top of the table at the end of the regular fixtures against Ayr, who finished in second place. And there you see Ayr in the huddle as we await the arrival of Melrose. It's a bright spring day, but there's a touch of chill in there, and there's a bit of a breeze as well. And now here's the home team with Blair Ruthven, the mascot, with the Melrose captain Grant Runciman, as Melrose take to the field. Last out Ian Moody, and followed by the refereeing team of three today. Referee is Mike Adamson, and his assistants are Keith Allen and David Sutherland. We'll have a look at the teams now. And here's the Melrose team. Jamie Batty at loose head, came off the bench, involved in the Glasgow Warriors victory last night. Rory Knott, who's played most of the season in the back row, in the second row. And then in the Ayr team, we see Stafford McDowell, the Scotland under-20 centre, is in midfield instead of Ross Curl, who is currently suspended. Mike Adamson blows his whistle, and Fraser Climo gets us underway. It's collected eventually by Fraser Thompson, and Melrose are looking to clear from their 22. Murdo McAndrew fires the pass, and that's a clearance kick, and we'll have a line out, and our first opportunity to welcome Chris Patterson to coverage this afternoon. Hello, Chris.
Good evening. Good evening. We're not there yet. Good afternoon, Graham. It should be a cracking game of rugby. Already you can see the effect of the wind, having Fraser Thompson just taking one or two efforts to catch the kick-off, and then an excellent clearance kick from Baggett into the wind. Takes Melrose out their 22 and up towards their 10-metre line as Lewis Anderson gets his first throw at the line out.
Ayr opting for a 5-man line out. Melrose getting paused to that first. And referee Adamson rules it went forward for Melrose.
Yeah, just Melrose putting pressure on the throw, isn't it? Obviously an early throw in from Lewis Anderson and the strong wind. So to add to that, Melrose have made the decision to get a couple of players up in the air, make it even more difficult. But the knock was forward by the men in yellow, and there's a really good attacking opportunity here for Ayr. You can see the wind blowing left to right. You can see it catching on the players' shirts, and we'll see the first scrum of the day's light. But I'd expect Fraser Climo, the Ayr stand off to put a bit of width in this pass and test Melrose on the edge.
Ayr scrum half David Armstrong, Dumfries and Galloway boy, picked up by the Ayr captain Pete McCallum. McCallum almost to the line. We've seen McCallum's explosive pace before in Scotland Club International colours, and he comfortably made 30-35 metres there, Chris.
That was a great break, wasn't it? Clean off the bat of the scrum. It caught me by surprise. It was actually initially a good scrum by Melrose, but it turned too far. Pete McCallum read that and then made that dart up the blind side. He got a lovely offload away, but the supporting player, I think it was Danny McCluskey, was just tackled into touch, and it's a pressure line out for Melrose on their own line.
Taken by James Head, and referee penalises Ayr. So an opportunity for Melrose to clear their lines.
Yeah, Jason
through
Baggett.
Jason Baggett. Yep.
It is a tough one. You see the trees in the background as well. His first kick was excellent. Under pressure, more time here from a penalty. It's another good strike by Baggett. It's a game of set piece so far, isn't it? We've had that break from Pete McCallum from the scrum. Two good line outs from Melrose, and this is the opportunity for Melrose to get the throw in and launch their first attack.
Russell Anderson to throw in for Melrose. Good take at the front. Baggett's pass a wee bit erratic. Fraser Thompson again auditioning for Billy Smart Circus. McAndrew. And it's Gossman's turn to juggle. You're trying to tidy up. And it's now Rob McAlpine, former Edinburgh pro. He's played a bit of club rugby at Stirling County and indeed at Hoyk. Armstrong. Back row support immediately present. McCallum again. Archie Russell shipping ball on. And here's George Hunter. Armstrong to Climo. McDowell. Little step there from the Scotland under-20 cap. Ayres back row again, really busy. Looks as if Archie Russell's got a bit of a stinger there. Slow ball, so it's going to be taken on by Stephen Longwell, the tight head. Armstrong poised. So maybe a wee bit lateral at the minute.
So you're getting the big forward runners into the game. Is it Pete McCallum to the fore? He's carried a few times already. Stafford McDowell from the midfield as well. George Hunter yet again, Graham. They're looking to take the direct route, but Melrose are defending reasonably well so far.
Given the pass width to Grant Anderson. Good step from Anderson. Collected by now Godsmark. And Melrose have turned it over. So that patient build-up coming to nothing for Ayr. And once again, Ayr penalised the line-out penalty earlier, and now penalised at the breakdown, and another chance for Melrose to clean the lines.
Well, sorry to interrupt, Graham. It's excellent defence by Melrose. They won't want to defend like that for too long, but they held the line. As I said before, there was big carries from Pete McCallum on a number of occasions, George Hunter as well, and then Climo offering some width, throwing the ball out to Grant Anderson, who was well tackled by Godsmark, who managed to rip the ball clear in the tackle. And then Melrose win the penalty. So it was an excellent defensive set by Melrose, and it's the first opportunity to get out their own half and apply some more pressure to Ayr.
Melrose pack be encouraged by that penalty to touch, and first visit really into Ayr territory. Now let's see what options Melrose have here at the line out. Ian Moody towards the tail, and Neil Irvin Hess also there, but it's meant for Moody, who came forward, stick in the middle. McAndrew to Jackson, Jackson to Runciman. Taken on by Melrose pack, and this time holding on in contact. So it looks as if at this juncture it's going to be a fleeting visit to the Ayr half.
It was initially a good play by Melrose, a good well worked line out. Ian Moody off the top, a great delivery, and had Grant Runciman in the backs, and they launched him. Craig Jackson came out first receiver, launched Runciman, but like Melrose defence, early on Ayr's defence was up to Stafford McDowell was in there. Will Bordle is so strong over the top of the ball, he wins the penalty for Ayr. And it's a cagey start. It's always a final, BT's Premiership Final. There wasn't much between the teams in the regular season. Only finished 4 points apart in the league. That's one win, and they beat each other in their home corresponding fixtures in the league so far. So not a lot between them. You can see that early on. Dealing with the wind is going to be the main thing, and then getting sustained possession and striking when you have your opportunities.
Taken by McAlpine. And Chris remarked earlier about Ayr looking to take a bit of a direct route. There's a knock on there off Armstrong and then an offside, so the fairly towsy start continues. Did you manage to retrieve your pen there, by the way?
I caught it. It's the first one I've dropped for a while. I've got it back. But that was more good defence from Melrose that time. That set piece, a good line out by Ayr, and they got the drive on, but they couldn't get the momentum on the drive. And Lewis Anderson, the hooker, had the ball at the back. He recognised there was no momentum. He tried to offload it to Armstrong. It was knocked on and then played by an Ayr player in front of the ball, therefore the penalty to Melrose. But there's a lot of pressure. It could be it's obviously a tactic by Melrose in this wind to apply pressure at the set piece.
So Anderson finds Irvin Hess, the big Watsonian, who's in his second season down here at the Greenyards, Scotland under 20 cap, and Melrose just trying to generate a bit of momentum there, working hard, taken on by Godsmark, and we're being peppered with quite a lot of penalties at the minute, Chris.
Yeah, in at the side, I think, trying to make sure Melrose retained possession. It was actually an excellent tackle by, it was a double tackle by McDowell in the midfield for Ayr, and Climo almost managed to hold Jackson up, but he got the ball slipped away to Godsmark, who was then, I'm not sure who the player was, it was penalised, but in the attempt to secure possession came in at the side, and Climo was thumped a beautiful kick from deep inside his own half right to the Melrose 22.
Yeah, Austin Lockington was interested initially, but as Chris said, a well-judged kick and an opportunity for...
Big moment for Ayr here, because there's been pressure on the line-up before, whether it was the throw, the left or the delivery, so they'll be looking to complete a set piece in enemy territory.
Lewis Anderson, it's untidy once again, and Melrose pirating ball. Irvin Hess, Ayr very quickly through on the scrum half, and as the home crowd were keen to tell Mike Adamson too quickly. McAndrew to head. McAndrew again. Width now. Godsmark had Fraser Thompson outside him, but opted to take the contact. Lovely flip pass there from Russell Anderson. And Ayer's defence being tested. Will Bordle immediately found to be in good fettle. It's a lovely kick though. Grant Anderson takes a quick one, caught by Jackson, and Ayr have really put themselves under tremendous pressure there, Chris.
Yeah, there's no need for Grant Anderson to do that, really. It was an excellent option by Jason Baggett. Melrose had taken a quick tap. Austin Lockington bringing some intensity and some speed into the game for the first time, and Melrose looked comfortable there, but then when it slowed down again, more excellent defence. George Hunter with a big tackle in midfield slowed the whole thing down, and Jason Baggett realised that. He knew that the momentum then was with Ayr, and he just sat back in the pocket and delivered an excellent kick into the corner. Grant Anderson, he'll be frustrated because with the wind behind, didn't really need to take that quick throw and to apply more pressure, but well done also to Craig Jackson for following up the kick. If he hadn't followed that kick up, I think Ayr would have been able to clear the lines after the quick throw. It was a good team effort, a good kick chase, and all the pressure results, and Melrose having to put in 5 metres out from their line.
So Murdo McAndrew, another product to the Howe of Fife club. So 4 of them involved with Glasgow last night. That scrum inching forward. Moody picks up. McAndrew finds Pecker off his wing. McAndrew goes digging. Head thunders on. McAndrew again. Anderson pinches that another couple of inches. Melrose keeping it with a one out runner with the forwards. McAndrew finds Rory Knott. Honestly, I'm not interfering with ball, really. Here we go. I think that could be a turnover though.
Penalty advantage, I think.
Yeah. Side entry penalty, I think. Lockington thinks of a quick tap.
It's very similar to the opening 13 minutes have been very similar, having a good periods of good attack, but dominated by good defence on both sides, really. Obviously Melrose are going to the one out runner there, the one pass to the big forward carrying hard. A number of reasons for that. A, it's a direct route, obviously, but B, because Ayr are so close to their own line, they don't have to worry so much about the backfield, so there's more likely to be 14 or sometimes even 15 players on their feet. Far less space to pass the ball to, so you try and take the direct route to bash your way over the line. But it was a consistent penalty again. Ayr in at the side, allowing Jason Baggett his first opportunity to goal.
Baggett then, from just to the right of the posts. As Chris always tells you, none of them is easy.
Never.
And there's a bit of treatment for a Melrose player just in front of Baggett to his right, but that shouldn't really put him off. Clean strike. First points of the BT Premiership playoff final go to the Melrose standoff. We're in the 15th minute here at the Greenyards. It's Melrose 3, Ayr 0.
As I keep saying, not much between the teams, but I think Melrose deserve the lead. They've been the more controlled and composed of the two teams. Defences have been on top, but that's the first visit to the 22 and they've come away points.
Climo then, ready for the restart. And he finds his opposite number. And does that count as an improvised kick there?
I've seen better strikes for Craig Jackson, talented guy, played in the midfield, plays 10, played 12 today. So I think I'll have a wry smile at that one. Again, it's maybe an indication of the wind, isn't it? Initially the wind took Climo's kick and then interfered with the ball placement from after it left Jackson's hand to coming off his foot, and it got off the field, but it's certainly not going to leave too much pressure.
Lewis Anderson, it's overthrown, and Ayr retrieving ball. Armstrong, Hunter again. Archie Russell involved, Gossman back inside. Yeah, look keen to give the ball a bit of width, Chris.
Yeah, Melrose's defence comes up pretty quickly, and they're almost saying, listen, if you're good enough to get the ball to the edge, if you can get it away under all the pressure that we're putting on you, then you deserve to get a reward out there. It's very hard to get the ball there, and even there, although there was half gap, it looked as if the ball drifted forwards and then the cover was able to get over and get to Gosman. But that's definitely where the space is against Melrose, but it's hard to get the ball there.
The line out taken by Blair McPherson, and Ayr trying to get a bit of go forward. I think Mike Adamson indicated that's one, and Melrose managed to get the body in there legally, and it's turnover time.
Yeah, so often you see that situation in open field, and you see that the referee calling a maul from a tackle, and it's quite often refereed differently when the maul's set up from a set piece line like that. I think that's what George Turner's asking the question. George Hunter, sorry. You got me started that. George Hunter's asking the question, but it was right. It was a maul. Ayr were asked to use it. They couldn't get the ball back, and when it went to ground, the Melrose players didn't have to roll away. So that's a situation we often see in what it's been known as a choke tackle, but it's been applied quite rightly by Mike Adamson, and they're driving them all from the line out.
Both teams, of course, have figured in the Premiership playoff previously. Melrose 2 years ago, and Ayr last year. So both seeking to, if you like, uncharted territory to win the final. And Lockington initially, and now Grant Runciman. Back it goes to Baggett. It's a reasonable nudge given the effects of the wind.
Yeah, it was a good kick. You can see how difficult it is for Melrose to get out of their own territory into this wind. It obviously didn't go to the kick initially. Ian Moody controlled the ball well at the retreat and scrum. Lockington and Murdo McCandrew had a dart up the blind side, but eventually they had to put boot to ball, and it was a reasonable strike, as you say, from Jason Baggett, but it gives Ayr another opportunity to come back at them.
It's the live wire, Pete McCallum. It's 3 tackles he's gone through. Quick ball, taken on by Longwell. Oh, good step from the tight head. Armstrong again. You're getting their forwards running. Climo. Here's McDowell. Archie Russell. Looking after ball. Anderson. Narrow side again. George Hunter. Runciman tries to steal possession, but it's still with Ayr. Climo, well policed by Moody. Armstrong organising. It's Longwell again, and Head is on the wrong side there. Referee playing an advantage. Armstrong. Good pass from Grant Anderson. McCallum keeps it alive. Here's Gossman. It's a second penalty, this time for the high tackle. It's taken by Scott Sutherland. Climo. Width. Here goes Archie Russell. Russell. Ball not finding Danny McCluskey, but the referee will bring us back for the I think the high tackle penalty.
Well, there was 2 penalties, wasn't there? The first one, I think, was a side entry or going off feet of the rack, and then the second was a high tackle against Craig Jackson, out on the 50-metre line on the left hand side. Good sustained attack from Ayr this time, but there was 1 or 2 really crucial tackles made. One was from Rory Knott from Melrose when Ayr looked as if they were almost at the line. It was a big physical tackle, a dominant tackle that stopped the momentum. And then, ironically, Melrose looked stronger the more phases they defend. Actually, they lost their shape early on there, but then refound it, and eventually put pressure on Ayr. It was good to see Ayr keeping hold of the ball and having sustained pressure against Melrose. Obviously, resulting in the penalty, but they'll be conscious of this wind. They'll want to try and make the most of it. It's halfway through the first half, so the first quarter has been dominated in terms of territory by Ayr. Melrose have the first points. This is Climo's first opportunity for his points, and Ayr's opening points of the day to draw level. But the wind at the strength it is, the team that's playing with it in the first half will look to capitalise as much as possible.
Yeah, picking up on the point you were making there, Chris, the initial attack from McCallum gave Ayr a bit of go forward, didn't it? But then it was well kind of defended by Melrose thereafter. Anyway, we'll see what Climo can do here from about 20 metres. And Fraser Climo levels 3-3 in the 22nd minute here in the BT Premiership Final at the Greenyards.
Yeah, good kick by Fraser Climo. Good reward for Ayr's hard work there. It was Pete McCallum who's been at the fore of a lot of the Ayr attacks, hasn't he? He's carried hard from set piece. That one was there as a cheeky wee throw to the front of the line, and he must have broken 3 or 4 tackles, so he's trying to lead by example, drive his team on, and they got the 3 points.
Baggett gets us back underway. And McPherson. Here's George Hunter again. You're trying to manufacture some space for Archie Russell. Here's McAlpine. Armstrong goes aerial. Ayr collect. An opportunity here along well. Climo sees space. Lockington and Fraser Thompson scurrying across. Thompson finds Lockington. And the cool head as Thompson now finds space. The kicking continues. This time it's straight to Sam Pecker. McCallum and Anderson make the tackle. Runciman feeds out. Nice step from Jackson. Good hit from Will Bordle. McAndrew. It was Jamie Batty. And good work by McCallum at the breakdown there, Chris.
Yes, McCallum again is an excellent opening quarter. Devastating the ball in hand, but he wins the penalty there after more. Actually, best piece of play. We've seen 2 or 3 turnovers. Climo recognising the space in behind, putting the boot to ball a couple of times. And it was well covered by Sam Pecker, who made a lot of ground up the middle, but then eventually the tackle came. Pete McCallum got his big mitts on it, and Melrose were penalised for holding on. So the game slightly opened up a little bit. It's good to see throughout the whole of that. Rory Knott was down getting treatment. Looks like a chest or a stomach. He's clutching his chest. It's a big collision when Melrose failed to deal with Armstrong's high box kick. So they were down to 14 men in that period, and Ayr came out on top with an opportunity now to launch from the line-out again.
Melrose making a change. Austin Lockington has left the field and been replaced by George Taylor, a member of the BT Sport Academy. Oh, lovely step there by McDowell. Pecker makes a saving tackle and forces the knock on. That was a decent break, and I'm sure he'll be frustrated he didn't look after the ball a wee bit better.
Yeah, well, he did the first bit really well, didn't he? Good throw, good delivery by Ayr, and they threw to the tail line out to take that extra defender from the tail line away from the midfield, allowing the space for Stafford McDowell to step inside. I think it was Russell Anderson who was defending off the tail line out, and when he got in behind, all the momentum's with it. He unfortunately knocked that ball on. That's let Melrose off the hook. We see another change for Melrose. It's the second one.
So it's Nick Bevan on for Rory McLeod there. Sorry, Chris.
Didn't look like injury, that, did it? We'll see. The head
rolling subs, of course, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll see James Head holding his chest as well. I think that was in the collision. We lost Lockington. We've already lost Lockington. So it's an attritional first 26 minutes.
McAndrew. And the ball eventually hooked back, picked up by Moody. McPherson was quickly on to the home number 8. McPherson working hard at breakdown, and that was good counter rucking by the Ayr back row there, Chris.
It was excellent. It was excellent. The Blair McPherson coming through. You can't play the 9, but as soon as Murdo McAndrew became a supporting player over the ruck rather than the clearing passer, he was fair game, and Blair McPherson drove through over the top of the ball from his own side and won the turnover.
McPherson, Irvine born, works as an aeronautical engineer. Shall we say something about Ayr could be flying high now, Chris? No? No, we won't. Okay, fair enough.
They'll be happy if this goes over, because they're needing to make the most of the territory, and the last 5 or 10 minutes have treated them well. They've kicked sensibly, they've chased hard, their set pieces improved in terms of its consistency, and it looks like they're going to move ahead for the first time in the match.
Climo's successful kick was from the other side of the post, so let's see how he fares here. Yep, he's nailed that rather nicely. Ayr take the lead for the first time here at the Greenyards. 28 minutes, 6-3 to the visitors.
Yeah, happy to move ahead 6-3, obviously, but they'll be frustrated with Stafford McDowell's excellent break just resulting in a knock-on, but they didn't lose heart from there. They then won the penalty back from Melrose possession that ekes them ahead in the game for the first time.
As we've been saying, both sides so evenly matched, but in terms of championship successes, Melrose have won the championship on 9 occasions and Ayr have only won it twice. So if you believe in that statistic and the experience, I suppose it kind of lies with Melrose.
Yeah, both teams pretty convincing the semi-final wins as well last week. Melrose beating Carry 42-15, Ayr coming out in top against Hawks 38-17. Herets have won the last 2 titles, of course, beating Melrose in the final 2 years ago and Ayr last year. So it'll be a new winner in terms of the last 3 years, and there's not a lot in it at all at the moment. We keep saying that, but there isn't. It's
yeah, it's
almost 30 minutes gone, and it's very, very cagey.
Anderson, clean take by James Head. Melrose looking to get them all going, but it's off to the backs now. Here's really not. Baggett came off Climo, but that's worked out in Melrose's favour. Candrew finds Jackson. Here's Fraser Thompson. Thompson on the outside. Good saving tackle. And Ayr scrambling. Armstrong. Climo. Space out here for Archie Russell. Tackle by Godsmark and Moody. Climo again. And he finds his loose head prop, George Hunter. Armstrong with the box kick. And it's spilled by George Taylor. And Danny McCluskey was hovering.
Yeah, George Taylor will be disappointed with that one. You can see the pressure being applied to Davy Armstrong when he's getting his box kicks away, but he managed to get another cracking kick away. It's the second one in the last 5 minutes or so right in front of us here that Ayr have won back. George Taylor will be disappointed. You notice Melrose had 3 players back due to the wind, so Ayr didn't kick initially. They kept the ball. Climo could have kicked, Archie Russell could have kicked, but they opted to keep the ball in hand because the backfield was covered well until they manipulated an opportunity to kick a contestable. And as I say, George will be disappointed just off the bench. He'll be disappointed not to take that one.
So an opportunity for Ayr then off the scrum. The Ayr back row boots just on their own, or should I say the Melrose 10-metre line. Melrose getting a bit of a nudge on there. McCluskey coming off the wing, finds a wee hole. Moody a bit high with the tackle, but referee seems satisfied by it. Good hands from Scott Sutherland. Jackson makes the tackle on McPherson. Armstrong looking for runners round the corner. Rob McAlpine. He was tackled by Head. Climo. Grant Anderson intruding. It's Will Bordle hovering out here. Will he see ball? No, he won't. The referee rules a knock on. Yeah, and there's not really getting much in the way of continuity, Chris, are we?
No, the Melrose defence is certainly coming off the line pretty quickly. It's reasonably narrow. It's coming up really hard and putting pressure on Ayr. But we go back to, I think Ayr are managing it quite well because they're not trying too much rugby in front of them. They're going direct. Robert McAlpine had a couple of big carries there as well. So they're using their big runners to try and dent the Melrose line. But the Melrose line's holding firm. Obviously there's no tries in this match yet. But Ayer's set piece has improved, and that stability from the set piece is allowing them to kind of control this, certainly the latter part of this first half.
I just wonder what you would reckon the advantage of that wind is in terms of points.
Well, it's hard to tell because it is a little bit blustery, but
Yeah.
it's certainly moving left to right, and we've seen its effect in the game so far with Melrose finding it difficult to get out their own territory, and then they're having the comfort of the wind behind to kick when they want to. So it's really difficult to say. I think the wind can have a bigger effect towards the end of the match when, if there's
It's
one
close
or
and
2
people are
points in
tiring,
it, it's tired, it's really close. Forcing mistakes, it can be punished if you have the wind behind. But both sides have so many good attacking players out there. Territory becomes less important because they can strike from all over. But in finals, these things are finely balanced.
McCallum on the pick-up, Armstrong. Archie Russell is the dumber runner. Here's Climo. Climo looks for an inside ball. The referee rules that went forward. It was a lot happening there.
Yeah, it's a nice move, a solid scrum. Pete McCallum at the fore again, freeing David Armstrong, who ran across the field and found Climo with a lovely pass in behind the strong running Stafford McDowell. But the frustrating thing again for Ayr is that first phase it's a turnover. So you've moved the Melrose defence, you've attacked the area you want to attack, but then the turnovers came, the knock-ons came, so you've not been able to capitalise on that pressure and that manipulation of the Melrose defence. So that will frustrate them. Similar to McDowell's break earlier on, they'll be looking to look after possession a little bit better when they are threatening.
The scrum then just inside the Melrose 22. And a nudge, but Melrose look after ball. Baggett feeds out, Godsmark. Here's Fraser Thompson onto the right foot. Grant Anderson. An early ball to Osman back inside. Having to work hard to recycle here, but it's available. Climo again looking towards that corner. Jackson's there. Baggett not really in a position to receive a pass, so Jackson takes on. We've got an Ayr player.
Yeah, it's Fraser Climo's down. He was hit just in the act of kicking. Nick Bevan came up. I wonder if Mike Adamson's going to have a word with his assistant.
Yeah, Keith Allen, the assistant referee, is heading onto the field to have a chat with Mike Adamson.
It was marginal, it really was. I mean, it was in his act of kicking, getting the ball away. It certainly wasn't a high charge. I don't think Bevan had time to pull out the challenge, but he certainly didn't slow down at the challenge either. So I think we'll see a penalty against Bevan. Mike Adamson's had a chat with his assistant, and he's now walking over to have a word with Bevan. We'll see what the outcome is.
Yeah, I think you've called that pretty much spot on, Chris. So an AR intervention, and looks as if we will have a penalty where that ball landed from Climo's kick just outside the Melrose 22. And we've got just over 4 minutes of the first half remaining here.
Yeah, as I say, saw it live, and I think that's the right call. It certainly was a collision after the ball left Climo's foot. It wasn't high. It was a fairly robust collision, and I think it's quite right. I think if it was high at all, or if it was any later, it would have resulted in a yellow card. But I think the penalty where the ball landed was the right decision. Now, the difficult thing for Climo is he's just been in a heap. He's just had treatment. He's had the wind knocked out him. He has to compose himself now if they opt to kick at goal, which they have done, and try and rub salt in the wound. There's the old delaying tactic. You sure it's here, ref, just to get another couple of breaths in the lungs to try and regain your composure after being flat out. There's the grass going up in the air to waste another 2-3 seconds. All the tricks in the book just to calm the nerves, get your breath back, and get your focus for the penalty.
I'm sure you never did any of those things.
I've just read about them. There's the ball readjustment as well. Quite right. Good experienced player by Climo.
It's an entire chapter of the book gone. Climo then, who had some time with Scarlets down in Wales. And he's got it. So Ayr extend their lead to 9 points to 3 as half-time looms here at the Greenyards.
Excellent kick with Climo, as we made mention the fact that he's just been in a heap, but also kicking left-footed from that left-hand side across that crosswind with the pressure on in a final. An excellent execution, and Ayr move further ahead.
Baggett finds the heart of the Ayr forwards there. McPherson, first receiver. McCallum, oh, if that pass had gone from Longwell. Anyway, it finds Gossman. Taylor, very quick to snuff out the threat there, and yeah, interesting tactic there.
Yeah, because of the time it is, obviously just under a couple of minutes from half time, I thought Ayr would put boot to ball there. Even if there's players back, you can get your organised chase, you can apply a lot of pressure in terms of territory, and then force Melrose to kick either out so you get a line out, or force a poor kick into the wind so you can have an opportunity to counter attack. So good endeavour, good attitude from Ayr, but I think if they had the time again, they'd maybe opted for some territory and applied more pressure on Melrose.
Got a brief stoppage as an Ayr player over on the far side receiving treatment. I think it's one of the pack. There's Will Bordle. Anyhow, an opportunity for Melrose to hit back just before half time from this line out, but Moody can't collect it. Bordle burrows out of first contact, and referee rules it's not going to come out of there, and he takes it back to the knock-on from Moody at the line out.
Yeah, frustrating line out for Melrose. It just can't seem. Initially, I thought their set piece was really good, but they can't seem to hold possession and get sustained attack, and put pressure on there. That was there was a line at the back, a knock on at the back of the line at there. Will Bordle was first to react, and because he made ground, but then no advantage would have accrued because he would have been penalised for holding the ball. They've come back for the scrum tee, and I wonder if we'll see Climo's boot going into this. Interesting, the two kickers in the back line really. The kicking positions 10 and 13 are both left footers, so we'll see Stafford McDowell's right foot perhaps if they do want to put boot to ball from this left hand scrum, or will they play?
It's McCallum on the pick-up. The visiting sport bays for a high tackle penalty. Mike Adamson unmoved. And once again, you're just seeking to one pass to a forward. This quite possibly will be the last play of the first half. And indeed it was. Referee Mike Adamson blows for half-time. So half-time in this BT Premiership playoff final at the Greenyards. Melrose 3, Ayr 9. 3 penalties by Fraser Climo to 1 penalty from Jason Baggett. It's been, as I think we reflected earlier, pretty cagey stuff. But join us again in the second half for the resumption of the match. And welcome back to the Greenyards. 9-3 at half-time to the visitors' air against Melrose in this BT Premiership playoff final. Chris, your thoughts on that first half?
Yeah, a wee bit disappointed really. To be honest, I think as neutrals you'll want to see a bit more rugby. I think the conditions are difficult. We've mentioned that on a number of occasions. You see here back in the field already, Melrose just joined us, Grant Runciman leading his team out, and I think Melrose will look to play a little bit more like themselves. They'll look as if they've been struggling with a kind of favourites tag a little bit, haven't had a lot of possession, haven't got the ball into the likes of Fraser Thompson's hands or Niall Godsmark, Sam Pecker out wide. So that will frustrate Robert Christie and the Melrose coaching staff. Whereas here, well, I think they'll be quite happy to be 9-3 ahead. I think they managed the kind of second quarter really quite well, and we're definitely the team on top. But with this wind, 40 minutes of action left for these guys in the BT Premiership season, we'll see how it ends up.
Mike Adamson signals the start of the second half, and immediately a bit of confusion in the visitor ranks, but it went forward from Melrose. Anderson, and it's Pete McCallum again, who set a high standard in that first half. It's out to Archie Russell, Russell to McCluskey. We saw that Ayr tried to pin Melrose in that top right corner during the first half. Now Fraser Thompson onto the right foot, bit of space, decent bounce for Climo, and Climo finds Baggett, who hoists. Gossman got to the ball first, and it's Armstrong, Stewartry man originally. He's played a bit of club rugby in New Zealand as well. George Hunter was his go-to forward. Nice step from the hooker Anderson. Climo, McDowell, Russell, nifty footwork onto his own 10-metre line. Armstrong again, finding a back row option. Will Bordle just about manages to slip Runciman's tackle. Climo, McAlpine, McDowell, Russell, dummies. Ball goes forward off Grant Anderson, and Ayr trying to keep ball in hand there, Chris, until just the wee handling error.
Yeah, Ayr taking some nice positions in attack actually. They're varying it between tight attacks and wide attacks, and comfortable with forwards passing in the back line and passing the balls in behind players, but it was always in front with the Melrose defence again, and eventually Melrose just soaked up that pressure, and when they did get to a touchline, put an extra bit of line speed and heat on the ball carrier and managed to force a turnover. So this is a really important scrum for Melrose. I feel they haven't launched too many attacks in the game at all. This is a good attacking opportunity. Obviously a wide scrum allowing the whole field for the backs to attack, and still got the option of Moody picking off the back as well. But Melrose have got Jackson starting the first receiver position and Jason Baggett in the winger's position, so they've always got something up their sleeve.
McAndrew, Baggett coming off the wing. So Taylor ploughing up the middle. No, I think it went backwards. No, went forwards, and whatever pretty moves were planned, we'll not find out on this occasion.
No, it was initially better, wasn't it? A stable scrum, an attack with some pace and some vigour, but in that second phase, similar to the first half, the ball's been turned over, basic skill error, which is really frustrating. But you can't let that affect you when you're on the field. You have to look ahead to your next involvement. Jackson will be frustrated with that, obviously, but you can't let that affect your game. Melrose need to get momentum if they want to put pressure on Ayr. Ayr have controlled the tempo really throughout this match, and they're doing so here as well. They've got a right hand side here that can attack with an 8-9, so Melrose have had to put two defenders on their left hand side, Ayr's right hand side, which means there's an extra man on the left for Ayr, so they've got a lot of good attacking options if they get a solid set scrum.
Low onto the left foot. Caught by Thompson. And super kick up the tram lines from the Melrose fullback.
It's a good kick from Fraser Thompson, wasn't it? Not a lot of space to find. It was close to this right-hand touchline. He initially covered the kick from Clymer really quite well. He had a lot of space to make up, and then kept his composure and popped it into touch with a nice bounce just outside the 22.
Here again, opting for four-man line out. Head got in front of McAlpine. Grant Runciman. Bordle tries to get over ball. The cavalry arrives to protect it. Moody. That's a penalty coming for Ayr, indeed.
And guess who?
Yeah.
Beat McCallum with a big smile on his face. It was a really good tackle actually. And Ian Moody run really hard, but George Hunter got the tackle in, and Pete McCallum got over the top of the ball like he did in the first half and won his side the penalty.
McCallum, as we were saying, was part of the Scotland Club International team last season that won an unprecedented double. Out injured in the early part of this season, but he's been very impressive today, Chris, hasn't he?
He has. He's in attack and defence. He's carried well. He's made good decisions when to pass, when to offload, when to carry really hard and take it to the Melrose defence, and also defensively he's won at least 2 crucial penalties for his side.
Ian Moody is just behind the pillar, and he's about to get some treatment from that's the former Border Reivers and Melrose back row man, Dougie Little, that's carrying the medical bag for Melrose today.
Yeah, it was just Moody carried that ball on the last phase, and then George Hunter hit him really hard, whether his leg got caught underneath him as he went down, I'm not sure, but he's getting a bit of treatment in his left knee. It gives everybody else an opportunity to reset, get some water on board. I think Melrose really need to
the message is getting passed as well, I would suspect.
Yeah, and I think the message from the Ayr point of view will be keep doing as you're doing. I think Clyde was managing the field position well into this wind. Is controlling the tempo. The message from the Melrose coaching staff will be: we need more intensity. We need a sharper edge to what we're doing. We have to get to line-outs quicker. We have to carry harder. Just a bit more zip and intent. They look a little bit reserved at the moment, Melrose.
Yeah, a bit
and
flat,
Ayr are in control.
And I suppose the other message would be keep the ball for
well,
both teams.
Absolutely.
So Anderson, let's see if Ayr can take this particular line out. It's again, it's hard not to say it's a shambles, but Anderson did well. Referee rules it was a dummy throw, so free kick to Melrose.
There was too much movement, wasn't there? And there was 3 or 4 options that nobody was sure quite what to do.
Yeah, just win the ball, that would be nice. And that's a terrific kick from Melrose.
Outstanding, wasn't it? Jason Baggett from the free kick. He couldn't kick directly into touch, so he taps it, finds the space and bounces it into touch. An excellent kick, and that's the little piece of skill that can change the fortunes of a team, because Melrose do look as if they're passive at the moment. That might spark them into action, whereas Ayr are doing the right thing. They're getting the call clear. They know they're under pressure in this line out. They've just lost the line outs. They'll be going back to basics here and looking for a good safe win.
Hooker Lewis Anderson has misfired in the last 2 line outs. Let's see what he does here. And he goes straight to Scott Sutherland. And that's a cheap penalty for Melrose to concede, given the territory that Baggett's kick had won them.
Yeah, it's a simple line-out, well executed, wasn't it? Scott Sutherland, one of the tallest players, thrown up at the front of the line-out, so the ball's not in there too long. Ayr obviously know where it's going, Melrose don't, so that gives you advantage to get up in the air early and claim the win. And then the frustration from Melrose point of view, tackled the jumper in the air. And again, Ayr control the tempo this second half.
George Hunter ambles over to the touchline to pass on some Enigma code to the Ayr hooker. And this time McAlpine is the target in the middle. Armstrong finds a wee bit space. Runciman quickly closes it. Gossman goes into scrum half. Sutherland the link to Bordle. Armstrong, Climo, McDowell. Nice footwork, finds a wee bit space. Armstrong again, Hunter. Gossman ducking under the tackle from Rory Knott. At least just about ducking under the tackle from Rory Knott. Climo goes wide. It's collected by Russell after a wee juggle. Here, attacking around the fringes. Climo chips ahead, collects his own kick. It's that man George Hunter again who's been very lively. Climo beats one tackle. Taken on, Armstrong again. McDowell feeds out to Longwell. And it's McCallum. They're just looking to recycle here, and it's McAlpine. About 18 metres from the Melrose posts at the moment, and it's all just rather pedestrian as Hunter tries to energise a bit. Here's Bordle. McAlpine lends his weight. McDowell, Russell at pace. Still with Ayr going through the phases. Melrose going over the top, and it was a long passage of play. I just wonder if the referee will have a word with Rory Knott for the tackle on Craig Gossman, which seemed to be a wee while ago now, but anyway, the advantage was played, and Ayr have a chance to extend their lead, Chris.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's great to see Gossman back on his feet. He got attention immediately, medical attention immediately, but he's back on his feet. He's okay. He was almost on the way down as he got hit high by Rory Knott. I think it was a collision more than anything with intent. But then, as a result, Melrose just looked comfortable in defence, but Ayr were controlling the whole thing. Climo, in your shot there, had a lovely chip and chase and regather. He was dictating the tempo. You said before that both teams should be working hard on retaining possession. Ayr did that through nearly 20 phases, and it's resulting in a penalty that's inside the Melrose 22 that Climo will look to chip over. And this is all into the wind. This is all controlled again by Ayr, moving the ball wide. Big ball carriers at the fore. McAlpine working really hard. Will Bornall's in there. Pete McCallum, George Hunter is doing a lot of work in the ball carry as well, but it's all controlled by this man Climo. Stafford McDowell had one or two breaks further out as well, so they're bringing their key players into the game here, and they're applying more and more pressure onto the border outfit.
Climo then. And his 100% record is intact. 4 from 4 for Ayr's standoff. Ayr now leading 12 points to 3 in the 53rd minute here at the Greenyards. First points of the second half to the visitors. And let's see what Melrose can conjure up in response. McCallum with a clean catch at the restart. Armstrong to McPherson. Climo steadies himself, charged down by Runciman. Runciman. Oh, the ball just skewed off his boot. He looked as if he had the beating of Sutherland for pace. And that was kind of like a change of mind there from Climo, who I think initially was going to run the ball, Chris.
Yeah, I think it was, and then he obviously at the last minute opted to kick. Great pressure, wasn't it, by Grant Runciman, the captain of Melrose, winning the charge in, and he was going to win the foot race as well. I think it was Longwell. He burst past, and just in the final attempt to control the ball, another kick was needed, and it just slipped inside where Climo got back to recover his own charge down. But much better intensity and sharpness from the Melrose back row.
Fraser Thompson leading the counter-attack charge as James Head is hobbling out of picture. Jamie Batty. Now it's taken on by Russell Anderson. McAndrew. Irvin Hess. Ayr pinged for not rolling away in the tackle on the back row forward. And an immediate chance for Jason Baggett to record Melrose's first point since the 15th minute.
Yeah, you can hear Robert Christie, the Melrose head coach, barking orders from the touchline. He's telling Melrose to bring more intensity, sort the breakdown out, get the clear out right, because Ayr are slowing the Melrose possession down effectively, and it's not allowing Melrose to get the ball into their attacking players' hands wider out. But there was too much on that breakdown at the contact. I'm not sure who the player was that was penalised, but it gives Baggett the opportunity. I think they're right to kick the goal, or take the opportunity at kicking the goal. But I wonder if it crossed their mind to kick to the touchline
to
and
that
launch
corner.
an attack.
Yeah,
It's I think Melrose have to sort of try something different. They have to get themselves out of this routine almost they're in at the moment. 3 points may do that. A quick tap, a big collision may do that as well. But either are a quality side who's certainly controlling things.
Baggett then from the 10-metre line. But it drifts wide of the right-hand upright.
A hard kick in that wind.
First miss of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's a hard kick in that wind, to be honest, Graham. But what it does do is Melrose should be guaranteed possession back from the 22. A couple of changes as well. Bruce Colvin coming on scrum half from McAndrew.
Yeah, Bruce Colvin, who we can assure you is not, as was numbered, Peter Eccles. So Bruce Colvin is on at scrum half for Murdo McAndrew.
Ali Greaves coming on as well. I think for James
It's
Head.
a clean catch by Gossman. Gossman collared by Godsmark. George Hunter was hobbling a wee bit a couple of minutes ago, but he seems to be restored to good health. Climo goes to McDowell. McDowell stepping off that right foot again. Looks as if he's been held up on the 10-metre line. Indeed he has. So once again there was just that little burst of excitement as Craig Gossman went up the wing, but we've spoken all afternoon about just how little there is between the two teams, and that's being played out, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I say, Gossman up the left-hand side, and then Stafford McDowell, who's been really effective as a ball carrier, attacking space, just straightened up there, beat the first man, but I think it was Ian Moody, and I think maybe Grant Runciman as well, holding Stafford McDowell up and winning the turnover. This is another good opportunity. We see Fraser Thompson, such a star in the BT Premiership. He's got a half field to play over here from the centre field scrum. If I was Melrose, I'd be looking to get the ball into his hands as quick as possible. He can still kick from this edge, but certainly get the ball into his hands, because he has the effect that for Melrose that Gossman can have for here.
Moody. Colvin with his first contribution. Grant Anderson, well, he got a good bounce to start with. Anderson. Craig Jackson retrieves on the halfway line. And Melrose are going to have to do well from here. Colvin. It's Ali Grieve that Mossy was mentioning with his first contribution. Baggett to Thompson. Nice pass. Taken on by Irvin Hess. Cry of keep the ball from the Melrose coaching staff. Turned over, but referee ruling an offside. Now it's another penalty on the 10-metre line. It's the opposite side of the field from where Baggett miscued a couple of minutes ago. So what's the option here, do you think, Chris? Touchline?
Yeah, definitely touchline here. Definitely. It's a hard kick, almost on the out towards the 5-metre line back on your own 10. It's a hard kick, and the momentum in games is such a massive thing. And you know, Ayr certainly have had the momentum for, how I say, other than the first maybe 5 or 10 minutes. They've completely dictated and controlled the tempo of play with their back row and their half-backs. Melrose have to try and spark something, and kicking at goal with a 50-50 from so far out, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think this is the right thing to do now, to apply pressure from Melrose' point of view.
Good take in the middle by, I think it was Moody. Melrose looking to bring a bit of organisation to their maul. And they managed to kind of siphon off to the right. And rumbling on. Player fell the wrong way there, but Melrose in control. Moody. Here's George Taylor. Colvin. The scrum half ready again. Irvin Hess gets beyond McAlpine, who makes the tackle. Baggett, Jackson, Fraser Thompson, quick pass. But Ayr defence was alert. And I think a long advantage was being played there by the referee. And it looks as if we're coming back for the penalty.
Yes, Mike Adams is going to have a word with one of the Ayr players as well. He's talking to the captain, Pete McCallum, there. I just wonder what he's saying, and it's only 2 penalties in a row there. I don't think it's, unless it was a cynical penalty, I'm not sure it's worth a chat with the captain.
Looks as if Baggett's going to the touchline again, though. Melrose got their driving maul going.
They did
pretty effectively from the last.
They did. I think Ayr defended it reasonably well. To be fair, Graham, Melrose got it up and running, but then Ayr defended it really well. It was actually Craig Jackson that came in from the inside centre that eventually rolled off the maul and continued to carry. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Here, forward down, receiving some treatment. The water carriers onto the field.
This is a big moment in the game, and
this was the final quarter now as well, and
really important. Obviously, Ayr leading 12-3 away from home. Some really good experience in there. If Melrose want to make a charge, this is a big moment in the match.
Irvin Hess in the middle. Runciman first to the ball. Melrose thundering forward. And Colvin is poised. Batty. It's Colvin. Jackson. Colvin changes direction again. Nick Bevan, the Edinburgh pro. Colvin now. Baggett. Godsmark. Good tackle from the air midfield. Here's Anderson. Longwell, his fellow front row, makes the tackle for air. Bevan. Will Bordle. Tested defensively. Moody throws the dummy. There's Colvin again. Baggett. Pecker. Colvin finds Batty. Hunter first up in the contact. Moody, Baggett, Jackson, Fraser Thompson. Rory Knott breaks the first tackle. Does he get the touchdown? It looks as if he has. So Rory Knott beating David Armstrong's tackle, and the man from Inverness goes over for the first try of the game.
But it was a cracking finish for Big Rory Knott, wasn't it? Melrose kept possession, they opted to kick to the line from the penalty, they caught and drove it, and then Ayer's defence was really, really strong. Will Bordle with a few tackles, and then there was a lovely delayed pass that set Sam Pecure off his left wing over on the right hand side, and it got in behind him, and then the ball was transferred from right to left, from one touchline to the other, where it was picked up by Rory Knott. He bounced one tackle, and then despairing tackle by the cover wasn't enough to hold him as he stretched out and thumped the ball down. Great try for Melrose, really important time. We said it was an important moment in the match, and Rory Knott came up with a try, the first try of the day, and the first try for Melrose.
Jason Baggett then, as Melrose introduced Dan Elkington to their front row, and Baggett has a chance to narrow the gap further. Close to that left touch line. But not connecting on that occasion sufficiently for the ball to bisect the post. So we have the scoreline of Melrose 8, Ayr 12, with around 15 minutes of the match remaining here at the Greenyards, and hopefully that first try will actually encourage both teams to express themselves a wee bit more in the closing stages. Certainly needed from the home point of view. George Taylor looks as if he's got the bit between his teeth there. Colvin to the try scorer Rory Knott. Baggett. So unfortunately for him, it was a great strike, but it's gone straight out. And well, when Melrose seemed to have kind of got the momentum, Chris, that's an unfortunate error.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate error. It was just such a good strike. It was under pressure as well. Initially, I thought he was going to get charged down, but it carried over the touchline straight out. After an impressive carry from George Taylor from the kick-off. Will Bordle's getting treatment as well in the midfield. He made the tackle, I think, on Rory Knott as he came in the corner. So, as you say, it's an important moment of the match, but the fatigue's kicking in as well. Will Bordle doesn't look too good on his feet. He looks as if he's going to have to leave us.
Yeah, Will Bordle has departed, and Adam Prentice, another of the representatives of Dumfries and Galloway. Adam has played for Dumfries and Stewartry clubs, has joined the action. Since when? Well. Taken on now by Scott Sutherland. And Grant Anderson with the dancing feet on the intrusion. McAlpine into the 22. Climo, McDowell. Here's George Hunter again. It's all lateral at the minute. McPherson once again just in and around the home 22 as McCallum makes a couple of metres. Armstrong to Climo. Sutherland, Archie Russell, McDowell. McDowell gives the ball to Gossman. Gossman stepping off the left foot. It's just 2 or 3 metres short. Ball's gone forward. So an opportunity for Melrose to either counter-attack or clear their lines. Colvin to Thompson, who does very well there. A cool head from Fraser Thompson.
Yeah, he beat the first man. There was so much pressure on. He beat the first man and then managed to get his kick away just up. That's the 22 you see. The Melrose is 22 there. Another good attack actually by Ayr. Mixed the game up so well between big forward carries from McAlpine and Scott Sutherland. The contrast from McAlpine's hard carry to Sutherland's lovely little soft hands. And tipped the ball behind the player to Stafford McDowell, who released Archie Russell and then Gosman. So Ayr have a nice flow to their attack, certainly have the ball. Nice balance between direct play, big runners running hard at the defensive line and getting on the outside edge.
Line it there on the 22. It's taken by McAlpine. Here maybe a wee bit upright, but getting the drive on. And a back comes in and adds his 11 stone to the forwards. Here, very much in control of this. It's now a bit of a mess, and Melrose have turned it over. Well, there you go. And there's an opportunity as Pecker beats 2 tackles. Good wipe out by Godsmark. It's on now. Oh. Gossman scurries, and the home crowd doing their best to rouse Melrose. It's interesting with that driving ball. I'm not quite sure how the ball ended up spewing out there.
No, it was, Melrose defended that ball really well, won the turnover, moved it from right to left. Procure made some space up that left hand side. I think everyone was hoping that Craig Jackson would keep the ball in hand as it came right, but in all honesty, all the players on the right hand side were so deep. It was the forwards that had worked so hard to defend them all. I think the only option they did have was to kick. It was a good outcome, but it had the feel that there was space to attack, but they put the boot to the ball. They applied the territory and pressure onto Ayr. It was much better defence and a good break out, a good counter attack by Melrose. And as you say, this game, only 10 minutes to go, is really in the balance. It's been close all year between these teams. I said there's only 4 league points between them at the end. 2 top teams finished 1 and 2 in the regular season of the BT Premiership, and it's going to come down to the last few minutes, last crucial minutes of the season to see who comes out on top.
Yep, that was pretty much the script beforehand, wasn't it? And sure enough, so Anderson finds McAlpine despite Moody's best efforts to disrupt, and it's the hooker trying to burrow out of the contact. Here's Scott Sutherland again. He's been such a stalwart for Ayr, former Greenock Wanderers second row. George Taylor catches this time, and Blair McPherson makes the tackle. Colvin to Baggett, Baggett to Thompson, back inside to Thompson, lovely pass. Now Thompson opts for the kick ahead, but Gossman is there to police with Sam Pecker pursuing that Fraser Thompson kick ahead. A lovely counter-attack from Melrose, Chris.
It was a good counter-attack, wasn't it? Started again with a big carry from George Taylor into the defence, and then the ball, the passing's much better in the second half, right to left from Melrose, and it was Craig Jackson almost matador-like, drew the defence onto him and then slipped the ball back inside to Fraser Thompson. I thought Fraser Thompson could have kept the ball in hand, but he opted to chip through, and with him and Sam Pecker just losing the foot race to Danny McCluskey, mopping up for air.
Here's Fraser Thompson again, and referee quite satisfied as Armstrong looks isolated over there. Melrose turnover. Colvin, Baggett, stray pass, Knott does well. Here's Runciman. Runciman hit high by McAlpine, referee playing an advantage.
Yeah, any contact in around the head or neck is a high tackle, even if the contact doesn't start there, if it rides up. Again, not a cynical one at all, but there was certainly contact after the initial hit, slipped up on the tackle, so it's a penalty. And now you see the intensity that Melrose are trying to bring. They're kicking the penalties to touch quicker, they're trying to bring a tempo because they now have the momentum in the game, but Ayr still have the lead, obviously, with just over 5 minutes to go.
So this line out on the Ayr 22, and Melrose with Irvin Hess at the front, Ali Grieve, Ian Moody, and it's won by Irvin Hess. It's with Anderson at the rear. And yeah, it was really a bit of a mess, wasn't it, Chris?
I think Longwell's doing a lot of good work in there for Ayr. Rob McAlpine as well. Scott Sutherland, the big guys defending that ball. They defended the ball really well, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes ago here. It's been a good weapon for Melrose throughout the regular season, but Ayr have used their nous and their bravery and their size and their strength and defended that really, really well. It's consistent refereeing for Mike Adamson as well, same as the first half, but yeah, Longwell was certainly in the thick of that, working hard as a tight head.
It's interesting too that Ayr have stuck with their front row, whereas Melrose have made changes to theirs, and you're talking about the shift that Longwell, for example, is putting in. We're getting close to full time and all the rest of it. It's quite a shift from the visitors' front row.
Absolutely, and there's been a lot of set piece, been a lot of scrum, a lot of line out. Obviously, we've had a fair share of knock-ons, and all these scrums have to be, your full focus, your full effort put into it. And a lot of the defending's been done in the first channel. There's been a lot of runners off the first pass. So most of the tackles, most of the defending's been done in the areas close to the ruck and wall, which predominantly made by front five players as well. So there's a big shift being put in by both packs.
Sorry to interrupt, Chris. That's Rob McAlpine departing, clutching his ribs there. That could be significant. So depending on which version of the Ayr numbers you believe, it's either it's Justice Sears-Duru, in fact, who's coming on.
So George Hunter maybe move back. Yep.
Yeah, George Hunter's had back row experience, hasn't he?
Moving to the second row, I think he's going into
second row. Yeah. Yes, yeah. There we go.
I'm not sure how much second row experience he's got, but he's played well.
So Melrose will be keen to get the nudge on in this scrum. Picked up by McCallum, who's once again working so hard, still moving, but Melrose have done very well to hold him up, and they get the turnover, and you can hear and see what that means. I should say that our clock on the screen is a run of play clock, so there's probably about 5 minutes to go.
Initially, McCallum did well there, didn't he? Picking and winding his body.
Retreating scrum and all the rest of it.
But Grant Runciman gets in and underneath, and then Irvin Hess and Moody come in and help out, hold up McCallum and turn the ball over. This is another crucial scrum in the context of the match. I think Melrose have looked better when they've moved the ball, when they've got away from the heavy, strong front five and pack of Ayr. So let's see if they opt to take them on physically or if they aim for the space.
Ayr penalised. So recent form suggests this will go to the touchline, and then it'll be driving maul time. We're at the sharpest of the sharp end of the BT Premiership. Melrose pack with getting a bit of encouragement, sharing a few codes and such like.
With Robert McAlpine departing as well, it's one less jumper for Ayr, so there's obviously one less defensive option for Ayr. So Melrose should be able to find the space vacated by him. George Hunter won't be as comfortable.
It goes to Irvin Hess, and the ball, I suspect, will be with Anderson at the back. George Taylor and Craig Jackson add their weight. Bruce Colvin monitors, still moving. Ball's there. Pick up. He's only a metre short. Colvin feeds to, I think that was Elkington. Colvin to Bevan. Once again, Melrose players queuing up for the one out pass. And referee rules Melrose going forward. Chris, we have to go to our man of the match nomination, and it's an awkward time to go to it when the scoreline is still so tight. Sorry.
Thanks. Do you want it now?
Let's give you a minute, shall we? We'll give you a minute.
We'll give it a minute. Have 2 or 3 options. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is the season.
Yeah.
The league season. Obviously, these teams meet in the BT Cup final next weekend at BT Murrayfield as well. But in terms of the BT Premiership, this is the league season. This is why you start training in June or July. You train all summer.
Just well, they start training in about 3 weeks' time.
It's about 3 weeks' time. This is it. All with the view of winning a title, being at the top of the tree, coming down to the regular season, and then having the commitment and the quality to win a semi-final, then a final. And it's amazing how all that work, all that time comes down to one of the last couple of set piece plays. So much riding on this. Melrose last scrum was completely and utterly dominant. They really did apply a huge amount of pressure. They won the penalty from it. Let's see what they do, if they can muster the same energy, or if can Ayr strike back.
Words of encouragement for Stephen Longwell, the Ayr prop. The ball is in. Melrose with an edge on. Colvin feeds. It's Craig Jackson. Is Jackson held up? Penalty coming. Referee rules ball held up, but he's coming back for a penalty. And I think the clock is off as well.
Tension's running high. Here's a penalty. I assume Melrose will go for the scrum again. There's much doubt about that. They'll look for the set piece scrum.
So the ball is with Jason Baggett, and he's going to opt for line out.
I'm surprised at that. The scrum has been dominant. The last 2 or 3 scrums have been really dominant.
But if you look at where Melrose has got a lot of their tries this season, they have scored a lot from driving line out. I mean, even going back to John Dale's time in charge here, the line out and driving mauls have been a big source of points.
And with McAlpine being off, as I said before, there should be an option to go to, and it's
Moody. Melrose driving forward. It's with George Taylor. Taylor was tackled by Climo. Ball is there. Colvin feeds out wide. Taylor juggles. He's in touch. Was it clean? No, it was a penalty.
Just pulling down the maul, was it?
Yeah. Pulling down the maul,
and
it's a yellow card for Pete McCallum, their captain. We've played 4 minutes of stoppage time. Melrose quickly take the penalty, and really you would have to say now with Ayr down to 14 men, as the Melrose president Trevor Jackson paces up and down on the touchline, with Ayr down to 14 men, it's very much Melrose's to win, isn't it, Chris?
Well, it is. Pete McCallum, didn't this happen last year in the final throws?
Pete McCallum was there was a penalty try, wasn't there?
Penalty try, or a sin bin towards the end. Whether it's Pete McCallum, I'm not sure. There's another change taking place. Is that Cameron Mackay coming on, fresh legs, but it's
David Young
coming
on for Ayr.
Cammy's obviously Melrose. I'm looking at the wrong notes, but just so.
And Danny McCluskey has departed from the wing, so Ayr have gone for an extra forward, or at least a forward to try and keep their. And Ayr take against the throw at the line out. Well, I never. I think that was Scott Sutherland. Ayr trying to effect a clearance. That was Anderson. Melrose piling in. It's with Armstrong trying to clear the ball. Ayr again trying to attack round the fringes. Fraser Climo waiting for the ball. Here it goes to Climo. Climo kicks out. The full-time whistle goes, and Ayr have won their first BT Premiership playoff final. It's their 3rd BT Premiership title in total, and they've done it the hard way, winning at the Greenyards. Winning today's game by 12 points to 8. You can see the dejection there for Bruce Colvin. The two teams, as Chris was saying earlier, will meet in the BT Cup final at BT Murrayfield next weekend. But today's silverware will go to the men from the West in Ayr. And Chris, your thoughts on the game and also your BT man of the match.
Well, it's very difficult to win away from home in any sport, and to do it in a final, to come in away the home team's patch and win that final, it's credit to Ayr, how they managed the game, how they controlled the game. I thought Melrose lacked a little bit of spark early on, but they certainly came back in. It's got a great try through Rory Knott, but I think Ayr probably deserved it in terms of their management of the game and the control they brought. I thought George Hunter was outstanding in the loose head. Stafford McDowell, played and carried hard. Fraser Climo scores the points. He orchestrates a bit. But my man of the match was the captain and number 8. Although he was sin-binned in the dying moments of the game, the man of the match is Pete McCallum.
Pete McCallum, who, as we were remarking there, was the man adjudged to have conceded a penalty try in the final at Mowbray last year. Yeah, it's interesting. He may have thought history was going to repeat itself, but he will be collecting the BT Premiership trophy, and a very fine performance by the Ayr number 8.
Yeah, and attack and defence, wasn't he? He was certainly the player in the first half that attacked space. He knew where the space was. He got 2 or 3 crucial penalties. Obviously, a lot of the work's laid. The foundations is laid up front with George Hunter, as I said, Stephen Longwell, Lewis Anderson, the front row. McAlpine and Sutherland added their weight in the second row and carried well and opted for good decisions. But I think Pete McCallum, through his leadership and his guile, deserves man of the match. He'd be delighted to get his hands on the trophy. Look at the Ayr players celebrating. They know how hard it is to come away from home and win. They lost here in the regular season, but they've won here in the final. And there's a sporting round of applause from the Melrose players, who will be dejected, they will be disappointed. But
there's an opportunity, I guess, Chris, to reflect as well. Two young head coaches, Callum Forrester of Ayr and Robert Christie of Melrose. And it's Callum, it's Fozzie who's got the better of the contest today.
Yeah, there's always a very little element. They're 2 excellent coaches, young coaches who are driving their clubs forward. They're very, very positive clubs in terms of the relationship with the Glasgow Warriors and Edinburgh Rugby in terms of player release and supporting young players in the BT Sport academies. And they've got their own culture and their own spirit at their clubs as well. They're very representative of the towns and the areas they represent. And it's just a lot of good things happening from both coaches and both clubs. There has to be one winner, and today it's Ayr. And look at the delight in their faces. Scott Sutherland, he's been through it a few times. He's been a few ups and downs.
Scott Sutherland was the man who won that close range line out right at the end against the throw, and that's always a tough call to make, isn't it? Do you go up to try and win the ball against the throw, or do you prepare to steel yourself for the drive? And fortune favoured the brave there for Scott Sutherland, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. He got up and he claimed it. And you get different views, as you say. You either go up and you make it difficult. For me, I would always put someone up in the air to make it even more difficult for the thrower. It's a little bit passive, I feel, to allow the team thrown in to win the ball and put all your eggs in the basket of defending them all. But these are good moments for teams as well. As we said, the end of a long season, and they're just summing up what went on, trying to take in the emotion. A few smiles. You see Stephen McDowell's smile on his face there. There's the disappointment in the faces of the Melrose players and staff. But the wonderful thing is that they have another opportunity next week. As we said, these two teams meet in the BT Cup final. It's always hard when you lose a final, but you learn more sometimes in defeat than you do in victory. And the team you're seeing at the moment, they lost in similar circumstances last year, and the final play the game to Herets in their home patch, so they've learned from that. They've got one better this year.
Billy McCarg, the Ayr president, joining the huddle. I'm sure he'll have a few words to say in due course.
It's a big huddle. Widescreen. One in, we're all in, lads and lasses. Good on them. Look at the smiles. You see Grant Anderson at the left there. I don't know who's doing the talking, we can't really see, but there'll be a big old cheer shortly when they realise what they're achieved.
There we go. As you say, the contrast of emotions, Chris. There's Billy on the phone immediately, sharing the news with Radio Mowbray, and yeah, as I say, contrast of emotions. Fraser Thompson, such a quality player, and he tried to spark something in that second half, as the Melrose machine had maybe just been a wee bit slow to click into gear today, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Fraser Thompson's an outstanding player. Melrose have so many good players, but they just didn't seem to fire on all cylinders. There was too many turnovers, I think. There wasn't a flow to the game. Maybe for a 5 or 10 minute period towards the end of the second half, maybe around 60-65 minutes, I thought Melrose found some control. They had some nice counter-attacks, scored a wonderful try. They only tried the game through Rooney. That was a counter-attack where Fraser Thompson was prominent, Craig Jackson was prominent. Obviously, Now Godsmark's a good runner. Sam Pecker had the break down the right hand side before the try was scored down the left hand side. That's Niles Godsmark there. So they didn't get the players, Melrose didn't get those players into the game as much as they would have liked due to the number of turnovers and due to some good defence. I thought both teams defended really well actually. Well organised in defence, a lot of physical commitment, a lot of bravery. Only one try probably underlines that, but it was a good try. It took a bit of scoring, but certainly both good defensively. And now we're looking at the presentation.
So it's time for the presentation, and as is customary, the losing team goes forward first, and Melrose with Bruce Colvin leading the way. Peter Lavery, the Premiership representative on the Scottish Rugby Council, presenting the medals. Dee Bradbury, Scottish Rugby's Vice President, is also part of the presentation party, and from BT, next to Dee Bradbury, that is Bruce McCrory from Gala. BT, sponsor of the competition. It's always hard in those situations, isn't it, Chris? Because the losers are absolutely gutted at the minute, and I'm sure they'd rather be anywhere than on that podium.
But your focus is primarily on the last hour and a half. But when the dust settles, when you take a step back and you think about the fact that you've not lost a game since October in the league, there's a lot of good things there as well. Yes, it's results driven. Yes, you want to win every game you play. You certainly want to win finals when you play. But there's a lot of hard work and a lot of good effort that goes on to get to this point, and that's where the learning comes from. If you learn, you can apply that next time round, and say these guys play in the final next week, so there's only 7 days for them to apply that learning. They won't be happy at the moment, but they'll dust themselves down, they'll get back into the training field, and they'll look forward to next week.
So now we will have a presentation to the match officials led by Mike Adamson, the former Glasgow Warriors, Scotland Sevens and Glasgow Hawks player, followed by Keith Allen, and then David Sutherland, the former Hamilton standoff. Now the player of the match is selected by Chris. No, the public address announcer doesn't want the player of the match to get his trophy, so we're going to move to the presentation to the Ayr team now. And first up, a man who gave a tremendous lead wearing the number 1 jersey, George Hunter, followed by Blair McPherson, the diminutive Craig Gossman. Harry Moore, I don't think he saw any action today. There's Danny McCluskey, the man with the crucial line-out steal right at the death, Scott Sutherland. Archie Russell, Justice Sears Duru. Now David Young, who came on right at the end. Will Bordle, who departed after giving a typically wholehearted display. That was Jamie Bova. I think that might be another wrong jersey numbered there. I'm pretty sure that's number 28 is not Richard Dalgleish. And there's Stafford McDowell, John Gill is doing the honour of getting the old ribbons untangled. Been impressed throughout the season by the Ayr scrum half, David Armstrong. He's a hard working soul.
He pops up all over the field, doesn't he? He's actually,
he does, yeah.
Quite almost like a French scrum half. He pitch up in counter attack. He was out wide at times. He's a link man. He can kick. He's kind of got all the attributes to the game, and he controls the tempo. Him and Fraser Climo,
yeah, right on cue.
The tempo of the game that dictated the result.
So the last man, appropriately. So the trophy will be presented by Bruce McCrory to Pete McCallum, who's about to collect potentially his medal as well. He now has his medal. He's going to move into centre position. And congratulations to Ayr, winners of the BT Premiership after a tense, dramatic playoff final here at the Greenyards. They've defeated Melrose 12 points to 8, and the silverware goes to the West Coast. Well done, Ayr.